My name is Peni Seru Daunakamkama. I am from Bau, and my father had never lived in the village, perhaps the whole of his life. He had practiced living outside the village, and I credit his character to my grandmother for bringing him up as a single mother, a single parent. He had a great discipline in his life, and I happened to be the second last child of his 11 children. And he always keeps a crock at home. We lived in a farm environment, very far from villages. I think the next village next to us will be about 5 miles away, and he had everything lined up and planned each day for us. We wake up in the morning at 5 o'clock. The clock rings 5. Everybody's awake. We would have our devotion, and then he will have a short sermon, and then he orders us to wear our working clothes and do a half an hour work. Each person has a task to do. I believe that is a great learning for everybody to have at least a responsibility to show to the parents how he can perform. I'm not a very perfect person. I made some wrong steps in life, but along the way, I remembered my upbringing, and I got back into line with what my father had taught me, and I began to be very concerned. I became a Christian. I received the Lord Jesus Christ some years back, and then I saw there is a great need of training people to become real good parents and to bring up their children, because I've seen that my father had done that. And one day I was reading a newspaper, and there was an advertisement about the Men Empowerment Network. It was their ground preparation at the JJ in the Park that Saturday. So I made a point of attending that, and when I came in there, I looked around for an old man, expecting someone, matured person, to have thought of this thing, but I couldn't see someone, and somebody pointed me to a young man who is Mr. Paul Isaac Morrell, a young, and it surprises me, and I said, well, there is hope for this country. There is great hope. And I'm very much into it, and ever since I've been attending to it, and I want to become part of it and to become instrumental in whatever I could do to speak to people, to inspire them to be what men should be. Over the years, I'm almost 80 years old at this time. I was born on the 28th of July 1941. In other words, I became substance seen by God in my mother's womb in October 1940. That qualifies me to say that I'll be 80 years by October this year. Anyway, growing up in a family that had some teaching of values and discipline, I see that there is a need for it now. I understand through the ages that hard times would breed some very strong people, and that's what I see in my father. And good times will breed some very weak people, crybabies, I would say. They will be complaining instead of appreciating what they have. They take things for granted. So I see that Men Empowerment Network would be a real solution to this problem. It'll be a vehicle of training to young men to make themselves good parents of tomorrow, and to train up their children to become strong people. greatest advice is this: when you become a man, you must set up a goal at a very early age. I remember looking at my father and his progress when I joined the police force in 1960, 60 years ago. I sat on my bed the first week and I set up my goal, things that I would achieve in life as I go on. And quite satisfactory to me that I've achieved most of those goals in life. And today I'm still living a very healthy life, and I would want everybody to understand this. This body must be trained, fed with the right nutrition, must be rested. The night is, God created the night for people to sleep, not to look around and spend their time and waste their energy and get ready to become useful workforce for the nation. I believe that God has created us to become servants of other people, and that should be my message to every man. When you become a man, you must show your family that they must become productive units of the nation. They become useful. There is hope for every person. Each person is born with a talent, and he must discover that talent as early as possible. Attitude towards life. Learn everything as you go on until you die. I don't know how many more years still left with me. I expect to live another 40 years of useful life.